Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the Public Utilities Commission meeting for October 22nd, 2024. The first item on our agenda is our consent agenda. Is there any comments on our report this week? All right, I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
I will make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item is on the agenda is our Employee of the Month, Jim Henderson.
Yes, Commissioners, Jim Henderson is the Employee of the Month for September. Jim works in the Electric Distribution Department, and he's being nominated because while he was locating underground lines, Jim came upon an elderly woman that had fallen in her driveway. Jim helped her up, waited till he knew that she was okay before going back to work. The woman ended up writing a letter to the New Ulm Journal on September 11th under the title of Good People in the World, thanking the city worker who helped her up. When PUC staff realized that the woman was talking about Jim, he was very humble about the experience. This is the essence of a New Ulm public utility employee, always willing to lend a hand. So congratulations to Jim Henderson.
That's fantastic.
I'll make the motion to recognize Jim Henderson as Employee of the Month for September 2024.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Jim. That's a cool story in the journal. Next item under old business is our well 22 and 23 reconstruction project.
Okay, this was something we brought to your attention in the August meeting. The well 23 has had a catastrophic failure and needs to be replaced or capped and sealed and drilled a new one. Well, with the site location and logistics, we basically have to put it in the exact same spot due to setbacks and all the requirements with being within the floodplain. So we're doing what they call as an overshot, where basically they'll come in, take the old well, old casing, everything out, re-drill the well in the same spot. It'll be a little bit bigger and a little bit deeper, so they're all on native material, and make it effectively a brand-new well in the exact same location. And now, with this well project, since our two wells, 22 and 23, are very close to one another, we have to tear down the well house and all that to get the equipment in there to do this. It is an opportune time to take and go ahead and do the exact same thing to well 22. Because if you wouldn't, you do all this work and you come back in another couple of years, suddenly that one would go to heck on us and we'd be doing the exact same thing over again. So we're electing to take this opportunity to rebuild them both, put a brand new structure there, manage the flood requirements there and do some updates for flood mitigation built into this project. And when we're all done, we'll have two brand new wells in the exact same location.
And it's the same reconstruction project where they're both going to be done?
They're both going to be done the same
identical
way. So it'll be, again, well 22 is going to be an overshot,
Okay.
bigger diameter, a little bit deeper, so you're getting to native material again.
Just one comment as well, or a couple comments. Well 22 is actually on the schedule to have a full rehabilitation. And so, putting the money towards, doing the overshoot just really makes sense. The other thing is, this is for the engineering portion. And so what will come to you at another date is the bidding. They'll prepare the bidding documents. So you'll see this again. Just so that you know, though, we're expecting to do this well sometime in 2025. And we expect it to be somewhere in the range of 1.1 million to do both of them. The intention is that we will probably issue a bond issue for this project. So we'll be working with Nicole to do that as well. So those are things that will be coming up in the future pertaining to this as well.
Do we know what it would be if we had to do them separately, the cost? Because there obviously must be some realized savings here with
There's
doing
quite a bit of realized savings, because if they were totally separate and say they were on two different mounds, a well similar to this that was not in a floodplain was about $750,000 just for one well. And now we've put a little bit of extra in the budget for all the permitting and stuff for being in the floodplain. So we're getting quite a bit of efficiency savings because we're, tearing down, putting in same new SCADA in there, same electrical. We're doing it once, but doing it for 2 wells rather than just one.
And I think, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, the original well was estimated about 900,000 or so. The add-on to do 22, although some of the electrical and stuff is included in that as well, but was about 200,000. To rehab the well, it would be about 100,000. So it really does make sense to do this
Right.
at the same time.
We would have to do all that other stuff for well 23, no matter what.
Yep.
So we're adding on 200,000, like Chris said, about 100,000 for other rehabs. So really it's costing the utility
Yeah, it's
about 100 grand to get a brand new well at this
very
moment.
little. No, that makes a lot of sense, I guess, at that point.
I'd make the motion to authorize the city manager to accept the engineering proposal from Short, Elliott, and Hendrickson to oversee the reconstruction of well 22 and well 23 in the amount of $132,500.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this topic? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're on to new business, the Cottonwood Backup Water Service.
Okay, this is more of a receive and order filed, I guess. We did a study to develop a backup water service going to the Cottonwood area. Cottonwood is currently served by one 12-inch main going directly up Cottonwood Street there. And I guess people probably seen and noticed that this is one of the areas in the comp plan that city is planning potentially on having further growth. So having dual feeds up there both in 2 separate locations. So this would not go right next to the current feed. We'd be boring across the Cottonwood River in a different location. So that if one ever did fail, we'd at least have another barrel serving this area. This project would probably be phased in 2 different phases. The first phase would be kind of going behind like Burger King and all that, across the park and some right-of-way property there to right by Shells Road. And then you bore underneath the river at that point in a second phase that would go through across towards Adams Park and get on Cottonwood Street and go right up the road there. So you'd have 2 separate water services, a distance apart, redundant feeds, and hopefully that also helps us delay the need for putting a water tower up there. Because again, you got, in theory, twice as much water coming up there.
Right.
So there's a lot of really good things. And it helps a lot of customers along the way with this project. Again, this is just the study portion of it.
Right, this isn't planned yet, it's just this analysis of it.
Yep,
Right.
this is the study.
Well, for phase 1, however, the engineering would be done in 2025. We do have it on the city schedule to complete phase 1 in 2026. Phase 2 would probably be done at some point when we start seeing more growth,
Up there.
or there'll be a trigger that will start phase 2.
Yeah, and that'll be a city project, so it probably won't be coming back. It'll be through the city project list.
I'll make the motion to receive and order filed the Cottonwood Area Water Service Planning and Analysis Report from Short, Elliott, and Hendrickson Incorporated dated October 10th, 2024.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Now the budget?
Yes, Commissioners, so this is the presentation of the 2025 preliminary budget. Just some details on this. Operating income came at $50,596,651. We have operating expenses of $49,565,920, with a net operating income of $1,030,731. We have additional non-operating income and expenses in the amount of $1,769,110. net income before non-operating transfers ends up to be $2,799,841. So a final net income of $3.4 million. We've got a change in unrestricted cash of a positive $610,000 and debt service coverage of 6.04 times. We did color code again the preliminary budget to highlight any variances that from the approved 2024 budget. And I think the next item will be scheduling the meeting for us to, the work session to go through the budget. So
I will make the motion to receive and order filed the preliminary 2025 budget for New Ulm Public Utilities.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we have to schedule the meeting. 4.3.
yes, so we are looking at scheduling the meeting Tuesday at 1:30 p.m., November 26th. This is the day of the next commission meeting, so it would be that afternoon. Just please make note that this meeting will be at 310 First North Street, so we can utilize the tools that we have in our conference room. So it's tentatively set, but dependent upon the approval of the commissioners, we'll make that final.
About how long would that meeting be?
Typically, we are very close to the meeting
Okay,
by the time
about 3 hours.
we're done. Yep.
Yeah, I'd say usually two and
Two and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
there's
usually
a half hour break.
maybe about half an hour
Yeah,
Minutes.
for us to get up here and then get to the meeting.
depends on how many questions you ask.
Pardon?
Depends on how many questions you ask. Or me. So I'll make, scheduling standpoint. Marianne?
Is that-
Is that schedule for you? Does that work for you, Kim? Okay. So I'll make the motion to schedule a meeting to review the preliminary 2025 budget for New Ulm Public Utilities at 1:30 Tuesday, November 26, 2024, in the Public Utilities Front Conference Room, 310 First North Street.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion on the meeting, time and date?
I do. Is that okay for you too, Seth? Sorry.
Fine.
Okay, thank you.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Last item is our report of claims.
I will make the motion to accept the list of claims paid in the amount of $2,977,721.06.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do our commissioners have any additional comments today? No? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.